Video được Việt hóa bởi Ngọc Tân từ group tài nguyên dựng phim. Nghiêm cấm các hành vi lít về rồi bán cho thằng khác. Mọi ý kiến đóng góp xin gửi về Facebook Quỳnh Ngọc Tân.
Now that we know basically how editing works, we can take a look at getting a little bit more detailed with each clip by adjusting its properties in the inspector. Just so we're looking all at the same thing, let's go ahead and go up to the media pool and load our edit page finished timeline. I'll close our media pool and unlock our tracks here. I'll move this up so we can see it. Let's say we want to reframe one of these shots. Say for whatever reason, we didn't like this bike tire and we wanted to crop it out. Well, the way to do that is select the clip that we want to adjust, and then over here in the inspector, we can make our adjustments. If the inspector isn't open, make sure to click on the inspector button right here. And anything that you have selected is going to have controls over here. So right here where it says zoom on X, we have 1.0. If we mouse over this number, we can drag to the left and right, and we can zoom this in and out. Same thing for position. I can move the X and Y coordinates back and forth, and we can do a reframe of our shot.
Video được Việt hóa bởi Ngọc Tân từ group tài nguyên dựng phim.
Whoa.
So that works well. But let's say for whatever reason we have this in two clips. One of these comes in as default and the other one is zoomed in. So how do we match these up so that we don't see that cut? Well, we could select this other one and kind of remember all these numbers. We could also double click each one, hit Control C, and then go back, select this and hit Control V and kind of do it that way, but that would be miserable. So the fastest way to actually copy these settings is we can copy everything that happens here in the inspector and we can paste certain parts of it into whatever clips we want. The way that we do that is we just select a clip and hit Control C on the keyboard or Command C on a Mac. And I can select the new clip that I want to copy things to. And I can go up to Edit, Paste Attributes. I can also just hit Alt V. And that's going to bring up our Paste Attributes dialog. This is where you pick all of the settings that you want to paste into your new clip. What we're interested in is zoom and position. Let's go ahead and hit apply. And now we have this matching up perfectly between these two shots. So that's how you do something like reframe a shot. You can also do something similar with the rotation. You can rotate. Of course, if we do that, we'll want to zoom in. And the more you zoom in, the worse your image is going to look because it's just kind of scaling up the image. But that is an option. If you want to reset any of the settings, you can click this little circle arrow next to each one. You can also click this one with the plus, and that will reset this whole section.
Video được Việt hóa bởi Ngọc Tân từ group tài nguyên dựng phim.
So open up the inspector and play with all of these little controls because this is how you do some of the fancy stuff. You can even do things like here where it says cropping, click that once to open this little section, and you can crop an image just with these little sliders. And that's really convenient if you want to do some kind of fancy split screen effects and things like that. And as you go through here, you might notice there's these little red switches. This will toggle the changes that you made off and on in each of these sections. So if I were to crop this in to where we just see Gwen, I can actually turn this globally on or off by clicking this little switch. And that's a great way to just preview what you're doing or just turn everything off if you think it's being problematic. One that is off by default is dynamic zoom. So if we turn this on, what this will do is take the length of the shot and it will start zoomed in and it will zoom out. And it's really neat because you don't have to animate it yourself. You don't have to do anything fancy. It just automatically starts zoomed in a little bit and zooms out throughout the length of the shot. And if you change the length of the shot to be a lot longer, it takes longer to zoom out. If it's a lot shorter of a shot like this, it zooms out a lot quicker. Very, very useful. And all you have to do is turn it on. If you twirl this down, there are different controls for it. If you hit swap, it will zoom in instead of zooming out. You can also have it ease in and ease out. So that means it slows down before it stops, and it starts a little slower, and then it kind of goes faster in the middle and then slows down at the end. Again, a lot of this stuff, I don't expect you to remember all of it all the time, but open it up and play with it because there are a lot of different options to do some fancy stuff for each clip here in the timeline.